The calendar is turned to December. We're set to go for Tennessee's second game of the year as the Lady Vols welcome in the ETSU Bucks to Thompson Bowling Arena. Hello again, everybody. This is Roger Hoover alongside former Lady Vol Andrea Carter. And Andrea, we get to see one of the best. And once again, she had a double-double last time out in the opener against Western Kentucky. She's the player to watch for Tennessee. And then on the other side of the floor for ETSU, Elise Stafford is also a player that can do it all.
Yeah, absolutely. Elise Stafford, she really pressed in their first outing against Longwood. She only had 6 points, but that does not paint a clear picture. This is a kid that can score the basketball and make plays.
Preseason All-SoCon selection, ready to lead the Bucks to a great year as we renew this in-state rivalry in the East Tennessee rivalry. It's ETSU against Tennessee. Teams met last year, and it was a close one, and the season opener for the Lady Vols in Johnson City against the Bucks. Now meeting in the second game of the year. Ian Green in the circle for the Lady Vols, right up against Jasmine Sanders, and the Bucks will get the tip off.
One thing to note, just at the start of the game, Tennessee, when they were playing WKU didn't have a true point guard. That was something that they were missing. ETSU has a true point guard. Kaya Upton, she's been running this team for 3 years, so she can get them in their offense and get them moving.
Stafford lost control of it, keeps possession as the shot clock winds down for the Bucks, throws it up, and couldn't get to go. Basketball back to Tennessee. Starting five for the Lady Vols, same as the last game because Kelly Harper saw some tough players on the floor with a new look lineup.
I was really impressed by Marta Suarez. Talking about that toughness, she was a freshman, but she played with a sense of composure and made great decisions, and we're going to see that again tonight.
Walker keeps control of the basketball despite some pressure from Upton. Gabriel led the way with 18 points last time out. Suarez with her first touch, shot clock down to 5. There's Suarez, Tennessee's first 2.
And see, even right there, it's patience to wait on the ball screen and then just enough dribble. She doesn't over dribble, she doesn't get herself in a tough spot, just takes it to the rim and finishes.
Offensive foul against the Bucks. They're starting 5, again, same as their last game. Picked up a victory against Longwood, didn't get off to a good start in that ball game, but eventually rallied to win at 62-56.
You talked about not getting off to a good start. One thing ETSU struggled with in the first quarter in their first outing was turnovers. They had a hard time taking care of the basketball.
Davis floats it and scores.
That's the body control, Roger, that I talked about in the open. Just sky high, goes straight up, not out to knock it in.
ETSU trying to work the paint. Last by the Lady Vols.
And just to take another look at this, watch the body control. This is a play that a lot of people can get a charge on, and instead she just turns her body just enough to avoid Jakaya Davis' extended hands, puts it up and in.
Upton going to work. Pressure by Tennessee on the perimeter so far. Contested shot won't go. Bucks keep it alive for a moment. Back with it, Tennessee.
And I like the hustle by Jakaya Davis to get the offensive rebound, but then a freshman mistake. Just pick it back out and get another possession.
Charge called on Renee Davis.
That's Jasmine Sanders on the defensive end. In their game against Longwood, there were a couple of times where she got beat. Straight line drives to the basket. She did a nice job at cutting off Davis.
Bucks still looking for their first points. 0 of 3 from the floor to begin this game. Facing a lot of pressure from the Lady Vols. Another long shot clock for the Bucks. Stafford in transition. Couldn't get to go in the paint. Suarez the rebound.
Tennessee is doing such a nice job on the defensive end at making ETSU work to get a basket.
Lady Vols turnover in the backcourt will give it back to the Bucks.
When when I was watching the first game, Roger, last season when Tennessee played ETSU, Tennessee had to go to a zone so early because ETSU was just getting to the paint. I talked to Coach Kelly Harper, and she told me she would like to stay in a man to work on it.
ETSU gets its first points. A nice drive to the basket by Upton.
Just when I talk about staying in the man-to-man defense, that's what Kaya Upton can do. She's looking to get to the basket.
Burrell fighting inside, draws the foul. Tennessee led by second-year head coach Kelly Harper. Of course, a standout player here at Tennessee, but also boasting a lot of head coaching experience at Missouri State, NC State, even Western Carolina before that.
And the one thing that really stands out to me when I think about Kelly Harper, I was the sideline reporter when she was at Missouri State when they upset Iowa State, and just watching her team and shoot around, watching how hard they play for her, and how she just got them all on the same page. I was excited when she was brought to Tennessee.
Same intensity that she brought to playing point guard for Pat Summitt. She's brought that to being the head coach, and just a lot more comfortable this year. Kind of knows where everything is in your second year.
Absolutely, and that's what she said, when we asked about, what's the biggest difference coming into this season, she literally said, I'm not a freshman, I'm a sophomore, I have more experience, and she feels better about her overall knowledge of her players and what they need to be successful.
Legendary point guard for the Lady Volunteers, 3 straight NCAA titles. You combine that with a perfect season she had, like 17 losses during her career. Made all of her teammates better.
And we talked to Coach Brittany Ezell of ETSU about facing Kelly Harper, and she said that, Kelly was a gym rat, thoughtful, a winner, just had a lot of positive things to say, even though she was an opponent of Coach Harper.
Tennessee moving quickly. A turnover on Lady Vols. We've seen 3 already on Tennessee, 2 on the Bucks. Bumped it again, trying to find some space. He's not giving her much. So the foul called there on Tennessee. ETSU led by Brittany Ezell, who played against Harper, not only in what we thought about just college, but then we learned later, yes, it was high school AAU ball in Middle Tennessee as well, but 8th season as the head coach of the Buccaneers. It was a great player at Alabama and just a positive person. Really enjoyed talking with her earlier this week.
I loved hearing from Brittany Ezell, just her talk about creating the culture at ETSU and how that's the most important thing for her. Her 100% graduation rate. She has players that stay connected to the program, and she called them walking trophies, and that's what her legacy is, and it's her players.
She has a lot of newcomers this year. Trying to gel together and soak on. Right now they made it a 1-point game against the Lady Vols. Burrell after the big game last time out. The spin and the score.
That is a shot that you would not see Ray Burrell take her freshman year or even last season. Her confidence in her skill set and her ability to make plays is through the roof.
Foul on Renee Davis with a hand check.
One of my favorite things that Coach Harper said was she wasn't surprised by Ray Burrell and the way she played in their outing. She said the way she's playing is the way that she has practiced all preseason.
You talk about having some consistency. This is the first time in 6 years she's had the same head coach for back-to-back years.
And that's huge, especially for a player like Ray Burrell who thinks a lot and she has to process things, and sometimes she can get in her own head. Having a coach, knowing your expectations, that's important to just be able to play with some freedom.
Sanders short on the 3-pointer, and the basketball back to the Lady Vols.
That last shot that Ray Burrell made too is also an example of her skill set being at another level. To be able to spin and find the rim after turning your back to the basket, that's tough.
Great 18-point performance to lead Tennessee past Western Kentucky. Shkidua. Just go off the backboard, and basketball back to ETSU.
That shot for Jordan Horston, when she came into the game against Western Kentucky, her first shot was a 3-pointer off of a ball rotation. I would like to see her get to the basket. When you come into the game and your first shot is a 3, if you miss it, you're immediately a little bit tighter. I want to see her get to the rim and get something easy next.
Sanders missed on a 3 a moment ago. Can't connect here. Rebound right to Upton. Bucks 1 of 9 from the floor. Now 1 of 10, basketball back to the Lady Vols. Walker directing traffic. Horston, and a whistle blown.
In that last defensive possession for Tennessee, they've got to be careful. ETSU, they've got some guards that can knock down shots.
Timeout on the floor.
And step in and fit in seamlessly on a team. It takes experience, and I think for me, it starts with the type of teammate that you are. And when coaches talk about Jordan Walker and talk about Micaiah Dowdell, that's what they did. They came onto campus focused on being teammates first, and their teams just accepted them completely.
After a turnover, ETSU able to disrupt that with Dowdell knocking it out of play, taking away an easy 2 from Ray Burrell. These teams have had so much practice, whether it's over the summer or a very extended fall practice. Does that help, I guess, ease them in a little bit more too?
I think you have to have game experience to really feel like you're finally with the team. I think practices help, but after a first game with the success that they had, I think now is the time where they're like, okay, I'm in the mix, I've got this.
Salary just missed a baseline jumper. Destiny Salary, the freshman out of Jonesboro, Arkansas, another talented newcomer for the Lady Vols. And that goes in, breaking an over 5 route for ETSU from the floor. Once again, a 1-point game. Tennessee has scored in 2 minutes. Here's Suarez. Couldn't get it to go.
A nice job by Tennessee that last possession at getting a post touch. That's something that Coach Kelly Harper wants them to be intentional about. Still push in transition, but if the offense slows down, she wants low post touches.
Upton, shot clock under 10. Right to Horston with the steal. Out in front to Salary. Got it.
I was really impressed by Destiny Salary in their first game. She wasn't on that newcomers, but she could have been on that graphic because she took care of the basketball. She shot shots within the flow of the offense, didn't force anything, and just brought energy, which she said is going to be her role on this team.
10 points in 15 minutes in her Lady Vol debut. Right to the rim, Stafford. Count it. She'll have the line for one more.
This play is the Elise Stafford that we saw last season. This is why she's preseason first team All-SoCon. Just a strong, inside, crafty finishing through contact. Those are the plays that her teammates need her to make. And it really comes with their spacing. Everybody for ETSU spaced out on the perimeter, and she's able to get that drive.
Well, against Tennessee's Koshkitawa, now a chance for Stafford to tie this game at 9. The and 1. Rattles home.
One thing to note about Elise Stafford is in their first game, she was pressing offensively, got 2 early fouls, got a couple of charge calls, kind of struggled with turnovers. But towards the end of the game, she had 2 big assists that helped them get the lead and secure the win. And that's a big step just in her development emotionally. Coach Ezell said last year that frustration would have gotten the best of her.
This is a much better start today. ETSU was down at 11-2 against Longwood on the road, but still tied at 9 with the Lady Vols, but Tennessee breaks it up with Horston.
That's the type of play that I'm talking about with Jordan Horston. Not sitting on the outside and waiting for a 3, getting into the paint, get an easy bucket to get yourself going.
Dowdell through traffic, couldn't connect. To Koshkitawa. Traveled with the basketball.
And taking another look at the last bucket by Jordan Horston, this is something that Coach Harper talked about to me when she talked about this game. She wants her players to make harder cuts in the offense. That's a hard cut by Jordan Horston to get her to the rim.
Jackson. Hit the 3. There's Salary for the rebound. Burrell. Got it.
I am so impressed by Ray Burrell. The shots in the flow of the offense, taking threes, playing with confidence. If she can play like this and they get Rennia Davis playing at the elite level, that's a really tough combo.
Bucks trying to answer 5 in a row from Tennessee. Can't get the three-pointer from Hooks. Salary moving the Lady Vols a little too quickly. Still Tennessee ball.
That last shot by Ray Burrell, that is a true sign of confidence. Just a little bit of space. I mean, Elise Stafford still had a hand up, and Ray Burrell knocks it down. That comes from practicing. That comes from putting up shots, knowing, hey, if I've got a little bit of space, I can knock this down.
She's had to work for a lot in her career. Reserve role to begin last year, but then was able to work her way into the starting lineup. Final 9 games of the year.
Well, I remember her breakout game. Rennia Davis was sick. They played Mississippi State. She got the starting call because Rennia Davis was out. 20 points and 10 rebounds. She stepped up to the plate.
Against one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah, exactly. She stepped up to the plate when her name was called, and she really finished strong. I think the best part is she carried that momentum through a really tough offseason, and it's helping her this season.
Horston back to work. Jackson the rebound. Hooks finding more. Lonnie Williams, another newcomer in the game for ETSU. Puts it up and draws the foul.
ETSU has a few freshmen on the floor. Courtney Moore, Carly Hooks. So this is a good attack, just getting into the paint. And for Tamari Key, that's an unnecessary foul. All you have to do is extend a hand. You've got height advantage, no need to foul there.
Marty Smith and VFL Films alum Ryan McGee have some fun and talk everything SEC. That's Wednesday at a special time of 2 p.m. Eastern right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Courtney Moore at the free throw line for ETSU. That breaks an over 2-minute scoring drought for the Bucks. Freshman out of Gainesville, Florida.
And both teams right now, Roger, have their second players in. Well, Kean Green, she's coming back in. She's a starter. But to start the second quarter, I really want to see Rennia Davis and Elise Stafford start to take over.
Davis had to sit early with 2 fouls. And Jessie Rennie also in the game for the Lady Vols as Horston goes to Key. Salary active hands-on defense.
And that's something that Destiny Salary can bring to this team, along with Jordan Walker. Both of them bring an on-the-ball defensive presence that Tennessee didn't have last year.
Pressure on the ball again leads to a Bucks turnover. Orson calls out the new play. Salary wide open. Front iron, there's Key. 2 more. 7-point Tennessee lead, 7 seconds left in the first quarter. Hooks left it short, and it's Tennessee with an 18-11 lead over ETSU after the first 10 minutes.
Well, the Tennessee Lady Vols felt huge. It felt like a monumental loss, but I actually think it's benefited them in the long run. Elise Stafford, Shania Jackson, Amaya Adams, and Kaya Upton, their sophomore class at the time, they had to step up. They had big shoes to fill. It was tough on them last season, but they're better for it this year.
Suarez, the spin, left it a bit short. Basketball back to the Bucks. Stafford right on Suarez. Sanders with some space, blocked away.
That's what Tamari Key can do. Her defensive presence and defensive energy is so impactful.
4 blocks last time out against Western Kentucky, now her 5th of the year. Horston, nice pass. She'll get the assist.
Very impressed by Jordan Horston. I thought in their first game that she pressed a lot. She misses that shot. Instead of trying to get 2 points for herself, she finds Kean Green down low.
Dowdell snaps to that with a long-range 3. But for Horston as well, not starting for Tennessee in the first 2 games, is that allowing her to press a little more?
I think so. I mean, when you had the starting position, it has to be something that's on your mind. But for Jordan Horston, the only thing she can do is make the most of the opportunities that she does have. And for Kellie Harper, they picked the starting lineup based on practice habits. So that's another area where she can really improve.
And she improves there with a 3-pointer to answer the tray we just saw from ETSU.
And that's a great sign. I think it started with her first bucket being in the paint. Then she got a couple assists. Now she's settled down. Now the game is coming to her, and that's when she really starts to show some star power.
Some contact, and it fell.
And this is a shot for Jordan Horston that she just lets come to her. Sees the defense, step back a little bit, feels a little bit of space. That's the confidence, that's the freedom. That's what she looks like when she's not pressing.
Had 4 points last time out in 13 minutes already, with 5 points today against ETSU. Jessie Renning just picked up a foul for the Lady Vols, first in the second quarter. Stafford contested, but it worked.
That is so tough. The level of focus to shoot over the extended hand of a player that is 6'5", that's impressive from Elise Stafford.
Turnover on Horston, trying to connect with Key.
One of the things I like about Elise Stafford is how she attacks. Just look at the elevation and the focus. Nice job stopping on a dime and going straight up.
And she knows Key blocks shots, so gutsy shot, but again, it worked for the ETSU Buccaneers. Stafford down the right side. And a foul on Suarez.
I like the attack by Elise Stafford. She's got a freshman on her, Marta Suarez. She feels like she has an advantage there. And we'll take another look at it. So maybe a little nudge there on the lower body, but I probably would have called a travel. That's why I don't referee.
Sanders thought about taking a 3. Space for Stafford. Off the back iron, there's Key. Walker directing this Tennessee offense. Burrell lost control. Upton, right to Sanders. Foul called pair basketball to the Lady Vols. Walker couldn't connect to Key.
That was a tough play down the court by Kaya Upton. It didn't look like it was whether it was going to Jasmine Sanders or to Elise Stafford. It looks like there was confusion there because they're both running, Jasmine Sanders or Micaiah Dowdell, both running the court. It could have went to either of them. ETSU needs to get a little better spacing. That dribble drive and the way that they attack it works better when they've got space for driving lanes.
Sanders forced the shot, Key with the rebound.
I like the way Tamari Key is pursuing defensive rebounds. She can be a double-figure rebounder if she wants to.
Key and Green. Stafford to an open Sanders. Had a long time to think about that shot. Suarez to Burrell and some contact in the paint.
And just to take another look at that last Key and Green play, just one thing that she does really well is she gets deep position. It's really impressive because she has to work. And look at this, 2 feet in the paint. That's something that Coach Dean Lockwood, my coach at Tennessee, would say owning the paint. You rent the paint or you own the paint. Key and Green owned the paint there.
Richard, senior out of Philadelphia, transferred into Tennessee from Liberty. The best players in program history for the Liberty Flames.
What I like about Key and Green, when I watch her highlights from Liberty and watch her film, she is the tallest and most athletic player on the floor, but she also outworks everybody. So now that she's not going to be the tallest and the most athletic, her work ethic is going to keep her competitive against the athletes in the SEC.
Emily Saunders said she's the strongest player on this Lady Vol roster.
And she's a leader. You know, one thing that she said was, I lead no matter what room I'm in. And for a player like Renaya Davis, who is a little quieter and a little soft-spoken, Kean Green is a great addition to the team for that vocal aspect.
Lady Vols hit their last 3 from the floor. Burrell, just short. There's Suarez with the offensive board. And it's tied up. Possession arrow favors Lady Vols.
Marta Suarez, just one thing that she does is she's just involved in every play. She sticks her nose in, she tries to get the basketball and make things happen.
Beg your pardon, arrow favored the Bucks. Upton finding Davis, left it a bit short. He's trying to get the rebound, but it goes out of play off Carrington.
Coach Brittany Azell told us that Jakaya Davis can knock down that three-point shot. She said she's about 40 to 50% in practice, so it's just getting it to translate to the games.
And at 6'3", that's going to be very dangerous, especially in SoCon play, because hardly anyone can defend that. 6'3" from beyond the arc. Tennessee can't connect there. Jaden McCoy keeps it alive. Keshkitawa fights and scores.
That's the type of play that Tennessee needs from Cassiana Keshkitawa, not shying away from the contact. You know, another good thing about that play, the post-entry pass from Marta Suarez. That's something that Tennessee struggled with last season.
Suarez to Burrell, corrals it, draws the foul.
Taking another look at the bucket by Cassiana Keshkitawa, holding her seal, and then patience on the offensive end, and she really protects the ball with her left arm as it goes up. That's the way she can keep Jakaya Davis away from blocking the shot.
Burrell fouled by Stafford, so that's now 2 fouls on Elise Stafford for ETSU. She'll have some time on the Buccaneer bench. Burrell with 7 points for the Lady Vols. 18 against Western Kentucky, an impressive debut for Ray Burrell.
And the 18 points came efficiently. She shot over 40% from the field, took good shots, didn't really force any action, and just let the game come to her.
And this will go back the other way after Tennessee was quick in the paint. Carrington, couldn't hit the 3. Keshkitawa with the board.
This is where Tennessee on the offensive end needs to get more player movement, harder cuts, maybe a ball reversal as well to get a good look at the basket.
It's Tennessee outscoring ETSU 10-5 in the second quarter, and the Lady Vols with a 12-point lead against ETSU. Ray Burrell once again leading the way with 7 points.
Just playing with so much composure, so much confidence, and it's been fun to watch her play. I know it's only been 2 games, but just the difference in her mentality and the way she carries herself on the court, you can see it.
And a quick turnover. Horston with the steal. Lays it up. It's short. Burrell nearly had the offensive board, but it's back to ETSU. Quick score for Davis.
Nice decision in transition by Amaya Adams, number 21 for ETSU. She's the Swiss Army knife for the Buccaneers, does a little bit of everything.
McCoy off the back iron, but there's Burrell. And now she'll go to the line.
Tennessee does such a good job at pursuing the offensive rebounds. Just really energy going up, coming from across the lane line to get the basketball. For ETSU, they have to find a body and box out. They struggled a little bit in their game against Longwood. Akila Smith, she had 10 offensive rebounds. If you let a Tennessee player get 10 offensive rebounds, that's translating to points or fouls.
Burrell back to the free throw line. Sound the first. Junior out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
And this was one area actually that I think Rae Burrell can improve on from her first 2 seasons. Not only getting to the free throw line, but knocking down her free throws. Shot 60% last year. If she can add that element to her game, she's knocking down shots, she's getting to the free throw line. That'll really get her point production going.
The Bucks turn it over. Offensively, they knew they'd have some pockets like this where it was tough going up against this Tennessee defense, but Coach Ezell just wants to see improvement in little steps along the way.
And she said she felt like they were going to throw the basketball everywhere with their first game, and they struggled with turnovers, just got playing too fast at times. But sometimes you want to reel a team in. You don't want to have to motivate them.
Burrell buries the triple. Now in double figures at 12 points.
Confidence shooting the three-pointer. That is huge for her game. You always saw Rae Burrell playing fast and making the hustle plays, but making offensive plays, that's big.
Davis wide open there for ETSU. Walker helping run the Tennessee offense. It's Horston to the rim and draws the foul.
Take another look at the Rae Burrell shot. Just catching it, one dribble going to the left, and then she gets her elbow so high to lift it up. And I was impressed by ETSU working out of the trap. That's Kaya Upton finding Jakaya Davis down low.
Horston with her first free throw. 6 points for her already today. ESPN named her the preseason SEC Emerging Player. She was all freshman team a year ago in the SEC. Averaged 10 points a game a year ago with the freshman campaign.
And I like the way Jordan Horston has come out and played today. It's a really good sign for her to be able to respond from a game where she struggled to come out, settle in, and be effective.
Sanders attacks inside. Couldn't get it to go. Burrell. There's some contact, touched last by the Bucks.
In that last defensive possession, I really like Rae Burrell. She's been defending Jasmine Sanders, and Jasmine Sanders is a scorer. During her time at Troy, she really put points on the board, but Rae just using her length to play defense and not foul.
Tennessee brings back Destiny Salary. Still haven't seen Renai Davis in the second quarter for the Lady Vols. Picked up 2 fouls quickly in the first quarter. Burrell keeps on scoring as if she's Renai Davis.
Well, it is such a good sign for Tennessee, though, that Renai Davis can go to the bench in the first quarter, and Tennessee can not only maintain the lead, but even grow the lead with their best player on the bench.
Doubling up ETSU, 18-9 in the second quarter alone. That's a bit short by Davis, and the Bucks turn it over.
Tennessee scored on that last inbounds play. This is something that you want to take advantage of. Cassiana Kashkirwa did a nice job at really getting the attention of the defenders, and it opened up for Rae.
Just came in to give Jordan Horston a rest. Good ball movement to Burrell. Just couldn't get it to go.
And overall, the whole play by Tennessee, even though Rae Burrell missed the shot, that's a successful offensive possession. You get a cross screen. Destiny Salary has the patience to wait for Cassiana Kashkirwa to really set up her post and set up her seal. And then out of the double team, she finds Rae Burrell cross court.
It's little things like that. Kashkirwa is doing so much better this year.
And it just comes down to patience. She looks like the game is a little bit slower for her. Sometimes last year I felt like she got sped up and made too many decisions at once.
Hooks, got it to go. Freshman out of Atlanta.
And Carly Hooks can score the basketball. She came into their game against Longwood pulling heat check threes. She's looking to score.
Walker contested, just off the rim. Bucks moving quickly. Once again, getting it to the open player, and Ja'Kai Davis knocks it down.
She is such a skilled player. She can hit the three, she can knock down jump shots. Saw a lot of back to the basket moves against Longwood in their first outing. Just a high skill set, especially for a freshman.
When ETSU's hitting shots in the second quarter, they have a lot of spacing. Sorry, couldn't connect there. Bucks trying to force that to the paint. Turnover on ETSU. Burrell to Salary. All ball. Maya Adams slows it down just a bit. And it leads to 2. Ja'Kai Davis. Freshman out of Knoxville from Bearden High School. Coach Ezell said they're going to try and get as many friends and family inside the socially distanced Thompson Bowling Arena as possible. 18 seconds in the first half. Burrell's had 14. Walker, off the back iron. That was key for Tennessee.
And that's a tough break for Ja'Kai Davis. She's been playing so well. 2 big offensive possessions, making things happen. But for defensive rebounding, you've got to push back to get that over the back call.
First foul on Davis today. 11 seconds left in the second quarter. Tennessee with a 10-point lead, but the Bucks have been on a 6-0 run over the last 2 minutes.
And a lot of that is the play of Davis. I mean, she's had a really strong first half. 4 of 6 from the field, 8 points, making things happen and not playing like a freshman.
It's Markey at the free throw line for the Lady Vols.
One shot.
Markey going 2 for 2 at the line. 12-point Tennessee lead. Maya Adams. Left it short. Good defense by Tennessee.
Coach Harper said Tamari Key has excelled as of late. She gets the offensive rebound, draws the foul, then comes down to the other end and gets a block shot.
2.5 for ETSU to try and score before the break. Comes in, and right before the buzzer, Amani Williams.
That's a nice play by Amani Williams. She can score the basketball. ETSU really made a strong push to end that second quarter to try and cut into the lead.
So ETSU making it a 10-point game at halftime, but we've seen a lot of good things today from the Lady Vols.
Well, a lot of hard plays, hustle, gritty. We've seen points put on the board. We've seen block shots. It's a battle in East Tennessee, and that's what we expected, Roger.
Halftime again, the score, Tennessee 38, ETSU 28.
Really important for Ray Burrell. She's always had energy, but now she has so much confidence in the shots that she's taking, and she's knocking them down.
Lady Vols with a 10-point edge against ETSU. We're underway for the third quarter in Knoxville. Jordan Walker running the Tennessee offense. Ja'Kai Davis is back in there after sitting for all of the second quarter with 2 fouls, and she quickly scores.
And that's the same way that she scored in the first half, attacking to her right, stopping quick and going straight up to elevate over defense.
See how the Bucks respond after they had a solid second quarter scoring basketball after a little bit of a slow start, but an offensive foul gives the basketball right back to Tennessee.
We have to go back and take another look at the Renaya Davis shot, because here it's the shot fake. That's a skill set. That's something that you have to practice. You have to work on to really sell that shot fake, and then the stop on the dime and the elevation. ETSU has transitioned into, it seems a little like a zone defense. Micaiah Dowdell is chasing Rennia Davis, but the other ETSU players looked like they were playing an area.
We were told by Coach Giselle they'd have to play some zone just to try and combat the size that Tennessee brings.
And I was impressed with their man-to-man defense overall in the first half. Tennessee made some tough plays.
Now Upton leading the ETSU offense. Able to find Stafford. That just a bit short. She also had to sit some 2 fouls in the first half. Touch last by the Bucks. Jasmine Sanders trying to find her touch shooting as the Bucks try and stay with Tennessee. Down 12, but they know how important the beginning of this quarter is. Try and stay with Tennessee.
Hey, your side, your side.
Davis, what a nice touch.
Such great composure and patience to let the move develop. She could have elevated to shoot the jumper, instead does the step through to kiss it off the glass.
She's been ranked as high as number 2 in some 2021 WNBA mock drafts. That was a very pro move she just had.
Absolutely, it's patience when you get to the pro level especially, but even when she gets to the SEC and she's playing elite defenders and team defense, she's gonna have to be patient because they'll send 2 or 3 players to her. So the attack is what sets it up. A hard attack gets Micaiah Dowdell leaning into the middle. When you get a defender leaning and then you change directions, they go one way, you go the other, and it's a bucket.
Continues growing during her time in Knoxville, just the numbers improving in every category, especially points, rebounds.
I think it's so impressive when a player, as the pressure is more and more put on them, they rise to the occasion. Every year there's been a little more pressure on Rennia Davis to get things done, and she's still managed to be effective.
Dowdell from the elbow. Couldn't get it to go. Suarez and Green with the rebound for Tennessee, tying it up. Now Lady Vols back to work offensively. Suarez. Finds Burrell. Ian Green around her defender and draws the foul.
Nice job by Tennessee. Another low post touch. I talked to Coach Kelly Harper, and she didn't know the specific numbers, but a high percentage of Tennessee's plays are more effective when they get a low post touch. They really want to be intentional when the offense slows down at utilizing their low post play. And for Kian Green, she's effective down there. She's a true back to the basket. She can make things happen when she gets a good seal.
For Tennessee to be effective, she's got to get to the free throw line. She did that so well during her career at Liberty.
And a lot of that was her getting on the offensive glass. So many times when I'm watching her film, she snags the rebound skies high. The defense is out of position, and that's how she draws fouls.
Connect on the second. Basketball back to ETSU. It's been a 5-0 run for the Lady Vols to start the third quarter. Upton to the rim, left it short. Suarez to Burrell, open space, and score.
It's a nice job by Ray Burrell at knocking down the shot, but Kian Green was giving her a clear lane to the basket. That was a veteran post play. She cleared out the lane. Ray Burrell didn't need it, but that was a nice play.
3-second call on the Bucks.
And if you watch Kian Green as she comes down the court, she seals off Jakaya Davis just a little bit. Ray Burrell didn't end up using it, but look at the lane all the way to the basket. That's a nice play.
16 points for Burrell. Finds Horston. Tennessee on fire with a 10-0 run.
This is the kind of shot that you want Jordan
Harper of Tennessee, Brittany Ezell of ETSU as head coaches, and they're meeting once again. It's been a constant all throughout their basketball careers, going back to AAU and high school when Brittany got the best of Kelly, but then when Brittany Ezell was a point guard at Alabama, Kelly Harper, or Kelly Jolly in those days, point guard at Tennessee, did not lose to Alabama, and those were some great matchups because Alabama was very good at that time as well.
So fun. It's always fun to watch and hear stories about 2 point guards going head to head. And I talked to Kelly Harper today. She told me we always beat Alabama, but we never played well against them. And she said that was because of Brittany Ezell's confidence, her grittiness, and her toughness.
Just 2 competitors that love going up against each other, and I mentioned Alabama had some good teams in those years, went to the Final Four in '94, led by Rick Moody, the absolute best.
Coach Ezell talked to us about her relationship with Rick Moody, how fun he is, and actually said that Coach Harper actually has a little bit of Rick Moody and Pat Summitt in her demeanor.
You know, the aw shuck style of Coach Moody, and then Coach Summitt, you get the stick.
A little best of both worlds.
Pat Summitt, the legend, 8 national championships. Can you imagine her stare during a season like this with the mask on when that's all you see are those eyes just darting at you?
I mean, just the eyes. I think it would be so intense. It's such an honor to be recruited by Pat, to know her, to feel loved and cared by her. You know, she was a great coach, but even Coach Ezell talked about it. The way she cared for her players, that was the most important.
We'll miss her in Knoxville throughout college basketball. Bucks are able to score. Maybe there'd be some moments like this where Tennessee would be able to extend the lead a bit. Ray Burrell connect just there, and that was another opportunity for ETSU.
Well, if there's one thing about ETSU is that they're not going to go away quietly. They play hard. They have an experienced point guard. They have that toughness, that grittiness, and that edge that they get from their head coach.
Nice touch by Jasmine Sanders. Sanders, it's been a tough game for her. She had been over her first 7.
I like seeing Jasmine Sanders get to the rim. She's always been effective at knocking out the three-point shot, but she's so long and has such good handles, she can utilize getting in the paint more to score.
Suarez to Green, going to work in the paint. Just didn't get it to roll in. Burrell tried to keep it in play for Tennessee. Go back to the Bucks when we come back from this timeout on the floor. It's been Tennessee outscoring ETSU 10-4 in the third. Lady Vols in
playing, they can kind of climb those charts in the SEC.
It's going to be impressive to see how Tennessee plays in the SEC. Not as many non-conference games to try and get ready for conference play. The new year will come very fast this season.
And I'll tell you, the SEC is stacked up. Kentucky is stronger. I think South Carolina is faster. Arkansas has Destiny Slocum, who is a tough point guard. So, I mean, the teams, they're adding more. The SEC is getting stronger, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Burrell attacking. Left it a bit short. Basketball will stay with Tennessee.
And I like the attack by Ray Burrell to get to the rim, but what I like even more is just the effort by Cassie Kashkidawa to go for the offensive rebound.
Right into Burrell, and she's got 18 points.
To knock down a jumper after missing an open layup. That's next level as far as mentality, as far as letting go of the last play, and that's big for Ray Burrell.
Something we may not have seen during her freshman and sophomore years here in Knoxville.
No, if Ray Burrell would have missed an open layup last season, especially her freshman year, she would have hung her head. But for me, that comes from not knowing her role, not knowing if she's going to sit on the bench after. Now she knows her role. She knows she's all right. Right there, it's just focus. It's just she's settled in. She's not standing straight up. She's got her knees bent. She's ready for the shot as soon as the ball touches her hands.
Stafford, preseason All-SoCon. Get past Key, and it'll stay ETSU basketball. Burrell a little slow to her feet.
Tamari Key has such a nice knack for blocking shots. So you see Ray Burrell is a little limping a little bit as she gets up, but even just right high extended, she just bends her hand to get the block shot.
Holding on to that knee as she talks to Coach Harper. Tennessee is going to bring in Destiny Salary to replace Burrell as Cassie Daly will come out, the athletic trainer, to check on Ray Burrell.
Ray Burrell wants to stay in the game. She said, I just need a Band-Aid. That's all she needs.
Hard scrape on the hardwood. Upton right into Dowdell. Perfect inbounds play for ETSU.
I would like to see Micaiah Dowdell get going. She can hit the three, she can score. She's a 4 player, but she's got guard skills. She can really put points on the board for the Bucks. That was a nice shot.
Tennessee works to Kishkitawa. Now he, a lot of contact, and still stay Tennessee ball.
Micaiah Dowdell, she is the niece of Coach Nikki Caldwell-Fargas at LSU. Right here, just knocks it down. Smooth, high arc, holds her follow through. That was a nice jumper.
Part of a great basketball family, and of course that includes Ja'Kai Davis, her cousin, who used to be teammates with her at ETSU.
Coach Giselle said, just to keep talking about Dowdell, that she's the best defensive communicator that she's ever coached. She just wants her to continue to be herself and be effective on the team as a transfer.
Comes in from MTSU. Now she has 3 years coming up at ETSU, and that makes Coach Giselle very happy knowing what she can build with her. Thought about another three, now goes to work on the baseline. Room out of the double team. The floater will go for Adams, I think.
Maya Adams, I talked about her earlier being the Swiss Army knife of ETSU's team. She can score with both hands. She's become one of the team's best defenders, and she actually prefers to come off the bench. That's the role that she likes, and as a 6th man in the SoCon, she'll be an X factor for them in conference play.
Travel called on Tennessee, just as Salary directs this Tennessee offense. Freshman out of Jonesboro, Arkansas. Coach Harper has been high on her for many years, originally offered by Kelly Harper when she was still the head coach at Missouri State.
And I actually learned today she wears number 2. She is actually mentored and very close to Alexis Tolfree, former Arkansas guard. If you don't know who Alexis Tolfree is, just go back and watch Arkansas against Missouri or Mississippi State or Auburn last season. Alexis Tolfree put up 30 points. She's a scorer, and she's actually really close to Destiny Salary. That's why she wears number 2.
She may be in this booth one day, interested in a career in sports media.
And she's got such a fun, bubbly personality. When I watch them, she's always laughing, always has a big smile. You know, she knocked down a 3 in their first game against Western Kentucky and just had the biggest smile. Put her hands up. She's just enjoying the process and enjoying being that energy player for Tennessee.
You gotta love that as a freshman. You want to have those quick early moments, and when you're realizing you're getting to live out your dream, playing college basketball, playing for a program like Tennessee, you gotta enjoy it.
It's so exciting, and that's what I love about Destiny Salary is she looks like she's enjoying it, not pressing, not too hard on herself, just doing what she can.
See, and ETSU sticking with it. ETSU will get possession. Cold stretch for Tennessee, scoring drought over 2 minutes. Lady Vols just 1 of their last 8 from the floor.
And for Tennessee, execution is important. You know, in the third quarter, when you have a big lead, sometimes it's not when you're scoring, it's how you score. I'd like to see Tennessee execute on offense.
Quick steal by Horston. Davis will calm it down. Horston with 4 steals today. Now 5 in 17 minutes from that last one.
That's a solid job by Tamari Key, just getting down to the block and initiating the steal. It's nothing major, but it draws a foul on the other team's post player. When you get into SEC play, something as small as making a steal and drawing a foul, that's a big deal.
Quickly into Davis. Number 9 Davis up to 8 points, trying to get in double figures to continue what has been a great run for her of always finding a way to be in double figures. So 29 straight games.
I've been impressed by Tennessee in their execution on baseline out-of-bounds plays. They've scored a few baskets by executing down low. These are a lot of plays that teams take off. They either don't cut hard or right there. goes to set the screen, just slips it, hard cut to finish.
And to Stafford. Horston nearly her 6th steal right there. Upton down to 5 in the shot clock. Stafford will have to force it. Too strong and a shot clock violation.
Solid job by Tennessee at keeping ETSU away from getting into the paint. They're attacking, but they're going east and west. They're not going north and south. Tennessee doing a nice job with one-on-one defense. Tennessee's used this play a couple of times, a cross screen and then a down screen to get a clear look at Tamari Key down low.
Bucks get the steal, try to score in transition, and there will be a foul. That will send Courtney Moore to the free throw line. Salary called for the foul. Moore with 2 points both at the free throw line. Perfect 3 for 3 in the game. Marty Smith and Ryan McGee have some fun and talk everything SEC Wednesday, special time of 2 p.m. Eastern, right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Next one rattles out, and the basketball back to the Lady Vols. Tennessee's lowest scoring quarter so far of the game, 14 points. Nia Davis finding Horston, attacking and drawing contact, and a foul. And she'll count that.
That's what Jordan Horston needs to do, to finish at the rim. She had a couple in the first half where she should have finished them. She knows she can make them. And even right here, ducking her shoulder, getting on the hip of the defender, and finishing through contact. Those are the type of plays that Tennessee fans want to see from Jordan Horston.
Double figures for her today with 11 points. Give her 12.
Very impressed by her comeback. A really tough outing in their first matchup against Western Kentucky. She looked visibly frustrated, looked a little emotional, and to come out in this game, stay steady, stay solid.
With all the accolades she has, it is a bit of an identity crisis when you're not starting anymore after a terrific freshman campaign. We mentioned ESPN said she's the best emerging player in the SEC coming into the year.
Yeah, and it's hard. I mean, she came into Tennessee just so highly regarded for her ability to score. She had a lot of pressure on her last season, and I thought she played well last season, but this year, you would hope that she could play with even more freedom. She's got stronger pieces around her.
Tennessee doesn't score just before the buzzer, but the Lady Vols will carry an impressive 55-38 lead over ETSU as we teen pandemic, when you realize the stress that these student athletes have been under all throughout the spring when their seasons abruptly ended, to the summer, to a very long fall trying to get ready for basketball, and just everything about being a college student is completely different than what it's been before.
When I think about what these players are dealing with, you talk about COVID testing and tracing and staying in your dorm room, and there's so many things that for me when I played would absolutely drive me crazy, but for these players, for all of the players playing college basketball this season or really just playing college sports, their ability to continue to work and to continue to do the daily grind, it's so impressive and it can't be talked about enough.
Lady Vols force the Bucks into the turnover. Davis got to see her score 6 points in the third quarter. She drives and scores here, so double figures again for Renia Davis. That is now 30 games in a row.
And she needs to give credit to Cassiana Kashketawa. She cleared out the lane for her to attack. Even right here, watch, just clears out Jakaya Davis. She's sealing to get the basketball, but it's effective in creating the lane. Renia Davis has scored multiple times attacking to her right hand.
10 points and 8 in the second half. Played limited minutes in the first half due to 2 fouls she picked up in the first quarter. Jacksonville knocks it down. 3-point play, Renia Davis.
I think it's so impressive how Rennia Davis, she can have a quiet first half or a quiet first quarter and then just steadily put points on the board. It doesn't look like she's forcing the action ever. She just makes it happen.
20-point Tennessee lead. Actually, the largest lead that Tennessee has enjoyed today. Moore driving against Davis. Off the layup short. A good move.
And that's a successful attack. Even though she didn't knock down the shot, just getting to the paint, especially on a player like Rennia Davis. For Tennessee, it's little things like that. When you've got a big lead, getting a one-on-one stop, cutting off the baseline, executing on offense, those are the things that they need to do to close out the game, because that's what they'll need to get wins in the SEC.
And to Dowdell attacking Kishkitawa, and the basketball back to the Lady Vols.
Kassiana Kishkitawa. Coach Harper said she had a fantastic summer and she's got a new level of energy and a new level of motivation. And I actually think that comes from Kean Green being on the team. Jaden McCoy said that Kean Green has made all of the post players want to step up and want to play harder. And I see it in Kassiana's play.
Rennia Davis. Can't hit from the logo. There's Kishkitawa. Just in and out. Basketball to the Bucks. Quickly in front to Moore, a little out of control there.
And that's what happens when you have someone that's known as a shot blocker coming down the court. They don't even have to do much, just put their hands up and it disrupts. In depth at the post position, that's going to be a big deal for Tennessee, to be able to rotate Kassiana Kishkitawa and Kean Green and Tamari Key and just get solid rotations and solid minutes.
Turnover on Jaden McCoy. Stafford's had 7 points today. Throws it short.
I like the way Ray Burrell has played defense. She's been on Jasmine Sanders and Elise Stafford, and she's been able to defend 2 elite scores without fouling.
Her second violation after she got essentially triple teamed in the paint. 18 points, back-to-back games for Burrell to begin the year.
ETSU needs to really try and get in the paint unless they want to hit a shot like that. When Jakaya Davis can knock down a three-pointer, she's done it in practice, 40 to 50% in practice. If she could do it in games, that's awesome for ETSU.
First three-pointer of her career, and it comes in her hometown of Knoxville. Burrell, 20 points.
It's the composure, behind the back, attacking with her left hand and stopping all her momentum to go straight up.
And close to a career high for her. She had 21 last February against Arkansas. His career high. A foul call as the Bucks have done a nice job in the second half, making that extra pass, playing more of the offense they want to.
Ray Burrell, the behind the back was so quick, and then it's a floater, it's ball control, it's touch on the basketball, and also the focus. You see her eyes, she's locked in on the rim to finish.
She'll get a rest with Tennessee up 19, 7 minutes to go in Knoxville. Steal. Foul call just as Jessie Rennie was aggressive, getting to the basketball.
One thing that I almost like about there not being so many fans in the arena, you can hear the players talking. That last defensive possession, Rennia Davis, she called the switch and then she called the screen, just talking, telling Jessie Rennie what she needs to do.
Limited capacity inside Thompson-Boling Arena. Everybody socially distant in the stands. They can watch the Lady Vols. Tennessee keeps alive with Green. Working inside. Ian Green got it.
This is what Kean Green can bring to Tennessee this season. A toughness, a grittiness. First of all, she saved the possession. They don't show that in the replay, but she got that rebound just off of her hustle and then putting the ball on the floor, creating contact. She went into Jakiya Davis right here, creates the contact, and still finishes over 2 high hands. It's the energy. That's low post presence, that's energy, leadership. That's what Tennessee needs.
7 points for Kean Green today, the transfer from Liberty. He's come in, has been a starter. Big part of this basketball team already. ETSU gets an Adams three-pointer and a timeout by Ezell.
She can hit the three. Charlie Collier can knock down the three. She can put the ball on the floor. So think about Tierra McCowan and then some, and Vic Schaefer is using her.
Kentucky's a talented team, along with the #1 team in the country, South Carolina, coming up in conference play. And then, oh yeah, Tennessee, UConn. The rivalry is back.
I love that the rivalry is back. I love that they brought it back. It's fun. It's good for college basketball. And we'll see what they can do with it this season.
We'll be in Knoxville. Feedback Pat game coming up on January 21st. Tonight, really taking care of business against ETSU.
To finish out the fourth quarter, what you want to see, especially when you think about the teams that Tennessee have to face later on, the Texas, UConn, South Carolina. This is where at the end of the game, it's execution, it's spacing. So on a possession like that, that's spacing. That's where you want to see Tennessee be clean, be crisp, and make plays.
Baseline jumper wouldn't go for Jaden McCoy, but you like that shot. You like when she has that much space. Hard to the rim, and she scores. Great moves by Carly Hooks.
She can score the basketball. Rookie of the year when she was in high school. She could shoot the long three. She's kind of wiry, can get into the paint. She'll be a scorer for the Bucks in the future.
Travel on McCoy. Carly Hooks, a 5'8" freshman from Atlanta, Georgia, went to Westlake High School.
You know, you have to give credit to the Atlanta kid. Hello, from Atlanta. I like it. Just made something out of nothing. Got the bucket to go in.
Great career at Westlake. 7A state champions her final 3 years there. You mentioned two-time captain. I mean, that's a high level of basketball. Dowdell finding Sanders. Off the mark, Dowdell keeps this possession alive. Hooks. Tried to bank it home.
I like the energy and the effort by Micaiah Dowdell. Those are the type of things that you expect from her. When we talked to Brittany Ezell, she just said she does all the little things. She's not afraid to shy away from the work. She just gets it done.
Jessie Rennie, native of Australia. Davis calling out a new play with 10 on the shot clock. Gets some help with Green. Attacks. Draws the foul.
Looks like they called the foul before she ran into Micaiah Dowdell. But even right there, sometimes I want to see Renee Davis. I like her getting to the paint and I like her attacking, but she can pull up and hit shots over defense. Her elevation, that's where she can really score and be effective. That's a risky play. I want to see her make it an easy play.
Davis to the line with 11 points. Now 12. Friday night, after our college basketball doubleheader, the SEC Now team will have a complete breakdown of both games as well as interviews with coaches and players. That's right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Getting ready for another busy weekend of college athletics. We're not used to football going this far into December, overlapping with basketball like it is. But fun time of the year.
I'm just so happy that sports are happening in a year where you really weren't sure. They even said college football wasn't going to happen at all. We weren't sure about basketball. Just the fact that we have it. It's good for my soul. I think it's good for everybody.
Absolutely agree. Tennessee has seen the schedule impacted just a little bit. The opener against Florida A&M was canceled after they opted out of their season, but two games that have been scheduled, Western Kentucky, ETSU, who played well.
there are going to be a lot of teams that have to make adjustments on the fly. Canceled games, scheduling games. Coach Gary Blair over at Texas A&M, he said the most successful teams will be the ones that can make those adjustments and that can handle change, and that's hard sometimes.
Wonder, with all the social distancing guidelines in place, will he be able to throw candy into the stands like always in College Station?
See, that I don't know, but they need that at Texas A&M. That is a staple. Maybe he just throws it to, you know, the cardboard cutouts just to keep the tradition going.
Our absolute favorites in the league. Gary Blair, the legend. Cassie Rennie was just fouled. Emily Saunders just came in as well for Tennessee. Bucks starting to empty their bench a little bit as well. Just off the mark there for Hooks. There's Marta Suarez, 2 points for her today, but she's been active, 6 rebounds. She does a lot of little things for this Tennessee team.
I think one of the things that Marta Suarez does better than almost anyone on the team, post-entry passes. She does a really good job of getting the ball into the post. Very European player. She's got size, but she also has a great skill set. She's not the quickest one on the floor, but she still somehow manages to get by defenders. She'll be solid for Tennessee, especially in the future.
Signed with the Lady Vols in April without ever seeing the campus, and then wasn't able to come to Tennessee due to COVID travel restrictions. Finally learned in August she could come, had to quarantine in a hotel for 2 weeks, missed the first few fall practices, but then did such great work to crack the starting lineup the first 2 games.
And it was her practice habits. You know, one of my favorite things just in hearing Marta Suarez, one of the things she said was, I just want to be a plus. I never want to be a minus for the team. So whether it's scoring or whatever she can do to be a plus for her team, that's what she's trying to do.
Some contact on Hooks. Whistle blown. ETSU with this game today against Tennessee. They'll be challenged coming up in their next ball game as well next Tuesday at Memorial Gymnasium in Nashville against the Vanderbilt Commodores.
And that's one thing that Coach Ezell is known for, scheduling tough non-conference games. You know, she's played a lot of tough Power 5 opponents in her non-conference schedule.
Presbyterian, Davidson, Appalachian State also on the horizon, as well as Division II Newberry. And they get to go into SoCon. It's a schedule like this that'll really prepare them games, especially against the likes of Tennessee, Vanderbilt. Get them ready for conference play more than anything. Floater just a bit short from Williams. Suarez puts up 4.
Adams was physical with Rennia Davis as she made that cut. But the thing about Rennia Davis is she's so unbothered. Just got physical, getting pushed around as she makes her cuts, and still is able to finish. So I don't know, oh, we missed it. The play started a little bit later than the physicality, but even right there, just the hesitation. Teams that are going to face Tennessee will have to cut off her right hand. She has scored going to the right so many times.
15 points in 15 minutes. Again, 30 straight games with 10-plus points. Just continuing to score at a high clip. Now 44 of the last 45 games she's scored in double figures.
Taking what the defense gives her as well. She's been effective going to the right. She keeps going back to it. And that's what you do when you're a star player. You take what the defense gives you until they make you do something else.
Suarez taking the ball up the floor as Tennessee again has a lot of different looks at point guard this year.
That's a nod to Marta Suarez and her versatility. For her to be able to bring the ball up the court, you'll see her run positions 1 through 4 for Tennessee this season.
See a lot of that from Horston. Obviously, Walker has done that in a nice way in the starting 5. Suarez keeping this possession alive. Davis off the mark. Back to ETSU. Wants some contact and a foul.
Courtney Moore did a nice job at getting her back on Marta Suarez and pushing back to get the over-the-back call.
15 foul sub. So ETSU and Tennessee both in the bonus in this fourth quarter. Lady Vols trying to put finishing touches on what would be win number 2 of the year. So far, some time in Knoxville here at Thompson-Boling Arena. Coming up for Tennessee, will be a trip to West Virginia, getting ready for the SEC Big 12 Challenge.
This game against ETSU has been a good prep game for West Virginia. ETSU, they're athletic, they get downhill, they play with a toughness and a grittiness. Tennessee will be more prepared to face West Virginia because of the Bucks.
Trying to connect to Saunders, but it just went out of play. Sophomore from Mullins, West Virginia. So a bit of a homecoming for Emily Saunders coming up.
Emily Saunders has nice touch to her game. The next level for her and what she needs to get more playing time is just the pace. It's such a fast game, especially in the SEC, and getting to play at that pace consistently, that's where she can improve.
Now against Jaden McCoy. McCoy came in from Northwest Florida State College just before last season. Originally had, of course, a Knoxville native, went to Farragut High School, and then interesting journey. She had gone to Louisiana Tech and then Virginia Tech, but they had some coaching changes, so she found her way in the JUCO ranks, had success, now is back at a Power 5 school with Tennessee.
She said coming into this season, she feels more confident, feels like she's in better shape, just feels better mentally and physically to be effective for Tennessee.
Suarez and Davis, only 2 starters still on the floor for Tennessee. Saunders keeping the possession alive. Shot clock down to 5. Here's Rennie. Off the back iron. Davis with the board. Fighting inside. Bucks strip it away.
That last possession, Renaya Davis had a one-on-one matchup at the top of the key, and that's where I want to see her attack. Get past your defender, engage another defender, and then make a play for your teammate.
Kelly Post just in the ball game, short on a 3-pointer for ETSU. Tennessee can't connect to Rennie. Basketball loose and to ETSU in the final minute here from Knoxville.
Have to give credit to ETSU. They came in, they played hard, just like their head coach, Brittany Ezell. Tough, gritty, and they stuck with it. They didn't give up, they didn't quit, and that's something I expect from any Brittany Ezell team.
Davis just missed there. The basketball back to ETSU. 15-point performance for Renaya Davis after not playing in the second quarter with 2 early fouls in the first quarter. Steady as can be for this Tennessee team. We've got some big ball games ahead. Davis with the steal.
Nice defensive play by Renaya Davis, and then just the awareness to pull it out, slow it down, and finish out the game.
Tennessee will improve to 2-0 on the season. The Lady Vols have a 17-point lead that will turn into a victory against ETSU. Solid effort by Kelly Harper's group as the Lady Vols are 2-0 on the season.
Impressed by Tennessee and really their defensive effort to hold Elise Stafford 3 for 14 from the field. Jasmine Sanders 1 for 10 from the field. Defense travels. You need defense to win in the SEC, and I thought Tennessee was solid.
Certainly saw that today from the Lady Vols.